Hello, Internet, and welcome to Week 10 of the Multi-Battle League. So, I am Mr. Anderson, and this is Mr. Zeng. Hello, Zeng.
Hello, hello.
And this is our team builder for Team We Disney, who are, actually, this is a pretty big round for them, because they're on the cusp of being in the top cut, and we are the only team to actually guarantee top cut at the moment. But,
Yep.
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game, this one, don't you think?
Yes, definitely. Obviously, we're pretty relieved that we made top cut because I think we won 5 in a row. We've won the last 5 weeks, which is nice. And we Disney, they actually, I think last week, their opponents forfeited them, so they didn't actually play. And then before that, they lost 4 games in a row. So it's very different. We're on a total hot streak, and they haven't actually won a game in a couple of weeks or so. But yeah, the last 2 weeks are still super important for us because of those buys that the top 2 players or top 2 teams get. So ideally, Baz and I would like to win this week and next week. We'll probably have to win both, I think, if we want to be in the top 2 still, just because of how close the standings are. And even though their record is lower than us, they were really, really strong in the beginning of the season. And Baz and I were saying their team comp is scary. So like always, we can't underestimate anyone.
Yeah, so we are number 1 at the moment. This is a big assumption, but still assuming that the top 3 teams win all of their games this week. The standings really going to come down to us versus Drinking Birds in the last week. And if we lose that, it'll be down to Resistance against Team Jamie and Dreamball potentially too. So
yeah,
we want to obviously we want to win this game, but we want to win it hopefully with a decent margin too, just to give us a little bit more of a buffer. But
yes.
we can't think about Resistance too much. Winning is obviously the most important thing here.
Yep.
So let's have a look at the team, because they could give us some problems. I was looking at the spreadsheet with all of our teams on it before I started looking at this properly, and we've said a few times that we've got the team with the lowest base stat totals in the whole league by quite a long way.
Yeah.
They have got the fastest team by quite a long way. There's only actually 2 teams with an average faster team than ours, and this is one of them. So
What was the other one?
the other one is Drinking Birds, actually. So
Oh wow! So we
yeah.
get them last.
Yeah, so our last two rounds are against the 2 teams that are naturally faster than ours.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
So I'm looking at how they're gonna maybe try and control the game. They've got no Trick Room setters at all. So
Yep.
their only speed control really is Tailwind on Holucha and Tornadus, and maybe something like Icy Wind on Frostlass and Lantern. Not Lantern? That is Lantern, isn't it? Yeah, Lantern.
Yes.
And Gyarados can learn Icy Wind, but that's about it really. So they're going to go fast, you would have to imagine. That's the only way they can try and control this. And their way of fast, is Tailwind. Our way of fast is Tailwind. They've got a naturally faster team in general, really. So I think, as gimmicky as this might sound, maybe we could spend a minute thinking about maybe Trick Room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My initial thoughts were we definitely either have to go Trick Room or Tailwind. I think our Tailwind option is actually pretty decent since Aerodactyl's just really good against their team overall, alongside Raichu. But I'm definitely open to considering Trick Room as well. I think the one thing that I was this might be a little bit tough is that we would probably set up Trick Room. Actually, does Jirachi get Trick Room? No, right? It would just be Bruxy.
Yeah. Jirachi and Brooks, they should both get Trick Room.
Oh, okay. So they both get it. That's interesting. Yeah, my main the issue that I had when I was trying to think how could we set up Trick Room is a good lead option for that, just because I like Raichu normally for Fake Out, but it being fast, it just kind of hurts us more than it helps us. But I guess I wanted it, what were you thinking of in terms of setting up Trick Room safely?
Yeah, I was thinking Raichu and Jirachi maybe with an eject button on the Raichu, but that does assume they hit the Raichu, and also this is I guess the biggest hindrance to our Trick Room option, I guess, is that we don't really have anything that can just sort of spam really powerful attacks on their team. We haven't got a Rhyperior for Trick Room or something like that.
Right.
Azumarill is really the only thing that can hit, really hard in one hit, and it's not, it really needs setting up first. So even if we did, do the whole Raichu Trick Room thing. Like maybe Raichu would get put out. We can't swap sides, so we can't like bring the Jirachi for the Lightning Rod to protect the Azumarill. So I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, I think Trick Room has got a place here, maybe potentially, but maybe to base our whole plan around it, maybe not.
Yeah, I think the one reason I was like, you actually pretty much said everything that I was concerned about. Just like lack of a really consistent lead, and then the other issue is just like not having things that hit like necessarily super hard while Trick Room is up. And I don't know. I think like Tailwind is still a pretty viable answer just because Mega Aerodactyl is still faster than their entire team, so we could like and Rock Slide hits everything for pretty decent damage. So I was thinking like originally my thoughts on what to lead with was like Raichu Aerodactyl seems like it could be solid here.
Yeah, my first instinct was absolutely Raichu and Aerodactyl too. Just because they're like, if they're going to lead with Holucha, they have to lead with either with Tapu Koko, which is completely shut down by Raichu really, because they can't discharge next to their Holucha, and Lightning Rod takes everything else, so Aerodactyl is protected there. Or Holucha and Bulu, which could have the Grassy Seed, which would allow them to get Tailwind and everything. That would be, I suppose, the bigger problem. So then I was looking into like Hidden Power Poison on Raichu, and
I was thinking about that too, actually.
And which does only like I did the calculation. It does only about sort of 65%.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at maybe like Zed Iron Tail Raichu who went physical. And that does a little bit more. It's about sort of 75-80% or so. But that is one problem. But if they lead with Holucha, they're sort of forced to lead with their Tapu as well, and it would make sense for them to go with the Bulu. Tornadus is maybe the more likely lead for them, just because they can guarantee just a Tailwind just like that, and they don't have to encumber it with a Tapu lead like that. They can just get a Tailwind off the bat like that.
Right.
But it is weak to Rock Slide, and we've got a Fake Out. They don't have any Fake Outs. So Raichu Aerodactyl really did seem appealing to me too. I'm sure there was something that made me think maybe not, but I've forgotten it. So
I think the only scary thing that maybe shuts that down is like, so the main way I think they win this game is if they have Tailwind and we don't. And so like the one thing is like, the only way this lead doesn't work out for us is if they have something that's Scarfed and like wrecks our Aerodactyl.
Yes.
But I was also thinking like, if they Scarf something, we can just, and we suspect it, we could just fake it out turn one. So they'd have to lead two Pokemon basically, one which is Scarfed, and one which just threatens Aerodactyl normally otherwise with the one shot, and hope to like double up on Aerodactyl turn one. And I was like, I don't know, maybe they could Scarf like Gyarados or Landorus. Like Landorus with Scarf plus Discharge Koko seems not too far out there, and that seemed like it would actually give us a fair amount of trouble.
Maybe. I don't know if a Stone Edge from Landorus would even knock out Aerodactyl.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. So I was like, I think like worse than you just fake out the Koko. They shouldn't be able to knock us out. You get Tailwind up, and then we just go from there.
I'm just having a look, actually. Stone Edge actually wash my mouth out. Actually does quite a lot of damage. Am I missing something? Yeah, I'm missing something. I always do this. I was calculating the Z move again.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So Adamant 252 Stone Edge, can easily be EV'd for Aerodactyl to survive that. So
okay,
that's not a problem. I mean, I guess Bulu might be the biggest problem for Raichu and Aerodactyl, but is it heavy? Can it be sky dropped? That's a question.
Ooh, good question.
Like Bulu.
What I was also thinking, we could do something similar to what we did against Dream Ball, where we like have like HP Poison doesn't knock out the Bulu, but I'd imagine HP Poison plus like an Ice Fang, or actually Ice Fang was the main attack I was thinking of from Aerodactyl, maybe can knock out the Bulu, so maybe we could do that.
Yes, I was looking at combinations like that earlier, but I can't remember, because I did see that a Rock Slide from an Adamant, it was actually Jolly. A Rock Slide from a Jolly Aerodactyl plus a move from Raichu does knock out just 252 HP Bulu, but I can't remember if that was Zed Iron Tail or Hidden Power Poison. I think it was Zed Iron Tail.
Okay.
Which is maybe a little bit too much of a stretch, because we'd be forced to like have Volt Tackle and
yeah.
I guess that would do a lot of damage, I suppose, but
right. I was actually funny enough, like we actually were on the same train of thought because I looked up HP Poison and I didn't do Z Iron Tail, but I looked up Z Fly just because that was like the first thing that popped up.
Ooh, I'm sure.
Um,
Yeah, it did get an event with Fly, didn't
yes.
it?
But I was also thinking like the electric Z move here in general could still be really solid, but I suppose Thunderbolt would knock out Tornadus and Gyarados anyway.
Yeah, or even as far as Raichu's concerns, a Bloom Doom would be nice too, just to hit the Lantern and
Ooh, that is interesting.
yeah, just because I'm looking at the Lantern thinking like outside of Brilliant we can't really hit it.
You know, that's actually really a cute idea, I think, because then it's like, oh, no matter, you're probably going to bring both of your Booloos and whatever, I mean, Tapus and whatever one you do have, Raichu can always take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly, just like Alolan Raichu does with Lele and Goku. Yeah.
I really like that, yeah.
Yeah. This is really weird. It's like all these thoughts I had like an hour ago, they're coming out in word form in this video.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, with Raichu, we could afford to go, I mean, Fake Out Thunderbolt is a given. But I actually like the Bloom Doom idea, so we should consider that. And then, I don't know, I think, like, maybe we should just put Hidden Power. Probably Poison, just for the Booloo specifically. Like, we're teching in things, but by having those, then we kind of cover all our options. Encore is nice, but I'm not sure if it's really necessary here.
Yeah, the only other thing, aside from Hidden Power Poison, is maybe Hidden Power Ice, just because I
Yes.
think their team is actually pretty ice weak.
Yes.
But I mean, Hidden Power Ice, I suppose it would hit the Bulu, but it would only do about 30%, I would imagine, so not too much. But it would give us another option for their Landorus, although I suppose Grass Knot would do a decent amount of damage to that too.
But yeah, I don't. If like as of right now, I'm okay with leading Raichu Aerodactyl, I think.
I mean, we've got into a bit of a habit of just using like 6 of the first 7 Pokemon, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like
the 7 are just so good though.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Nidoqueen has actually really won me over. Like, I thought it was like a nice pick when we picked it, just to sort of fill a few sort of typing holes and everything. But it has become like a really good sort of backbone of the team. Just because it is a Pokemon that I've actually really enjoyed, like, you know, making these weird EV spreads just to survive attacks and do stuff back. And really, they don't have anything that can one-shot Nidoqueen, I don't think. I mean, I guess like a Hydro Vortex from Gyarados would, or a Sub-Zero Slammer from Frostlass would, but not much else would. And they can actually hit most of their team for quite a lot of damage too. So I do quite like Nidoqueen in this game too.
Yes, I absolutely do as well. Like, originally when I was looking at the matchup, just trying to figure out which ones I'd wanted to bring, I was like, probably, I was pretty convinced on just the middle row, actually, like Aerodactyl, Raichu, Breloom, Nidoqueen. Azumarill's interesting. Like, obviously it's super weak to things like Coco, Lantern, and Bulu, but one, it has priority Aqua Jet, which could be nice just to finish things off, and then two, like, Gyarados, Tornadus, Landorus, they can't really do too much to it unless they do Tekken a Z move, which I could see them doing for it. So, like, Azumarill was, like, I'm kind of iffy on it, but it definitely still has a place. Volcarona, it's like, if you get a Quiver Dance off on it, it feels like you could really maybe sweep through, but it is weak to a lot. Like, Tornadus, Gyarados, and Landorus all can have ways to, you know, hit it for super effective. But it does match up kind of decently against Bulu. And then Jirachi, like, I feel like Jirachi's been a lot better for us in the last couple of weeks, so I feel like we probably figure something to utilize there. Like Scarf Jirachi here maybe actually could put in some work.
Yeah, I think absolutely we want Jirachi here. I'm not sure about Scarf, but I suppose we'll think about Jirachi later when we get the rest of the team around it, because either we could go Scarf, I suppose, or Follow Me, I think would be quite nice too. Or I suppose, if we really wanted to, there is the Zed Happy Hour option too. But probably say that every week. But just because they have got like their 2 Tapus, so Ironhead is very good against them. I think it could do a lot of work. I do like Azumarill in this matchup, although I can definitely see them having like Quick Guard on Hawlucha, just because they might over tech for Azumarill, just because it has done so well for us in the past. I do like Volcarona as well, though, just because we're thinking both teams are probably going to get Tailwind up, and their team is naturally faster. Like, they've got a lot of things that are naturally, or a few things anyway, that are naturally faster than Volcarona. So with a Tailwind and a Quiver Dance, that would give us the edge in the speed wars there, I suppose. So I do like all three of those top row. I mean, the one really that I was thinking, do we really want, was Breloom, but just because they've got their electric terrain and everything, although they have got quite a lot of flying Pokemon, so we could still spore them. But that Lantern is potentially going to be a problem too. And I guess, like, Bullet Seed can take advantage of their grassy terrain too, if we find ourselves in that way. So
yeah, like, unlike the Dream Ball matchup, like, Gyarados, Landers, and Tornadus are all, like, sporable, and I think, like, in this matchup, since, like you mentioned, they'll probably want to prioritize setting up Tailwind, most likely through that Tornadus as well. I feel like Breloom just being able to put something to sleep, because we'll definitely want to focus Sash it, is actually a really huge deal, because then, like, it means that their one Pokemon, like, that slot can attack guaranteed for at least one turn. And given that, you know, they have some things that are naturally faster, I feel like that's pretty important. And then Bullet Seed also just is pretty good damage against, you know, all the things that don't resist it, like Lantern. But that's the biggest one. But also against Coco, Landorus, Gyarados. Like, I think, I don't know. I was pretty sold on just having Breloom, because I feel like there's not much reason. It's like with the Sash, it feels like it's always just a pretty safe pick.
Yeah, it really is. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to do anything with these bottom three Pokemon again. Maybe. I mean, we've only got 2 weeks left. I mean, we can think about in the future doing the that swap thing, the free agency thing.
Yes.
If we really wanted to, but I mean that's a different thing to think about. So, oops, let's not move Aerodactyl. Let's move these three down here. I mean, I was thinking like Purloin could be nice because they don't have any fake outs, so we don't have to worry about like them having a faster fake out. Because it's a dark type, they can't like Prankster Taunt our Purloin. But you know, we can't taunt them first, so we can't really stop them getting Tailwind up. If we had like Snatch, maybe we could stop them getting a Tailwind up for one turn, but that's a bit gimmicky too.
Yeah.
So not really sold on Purloin here, unfortunately. Regigigas, I was thinking, could potentially do something, just because, I mean, it's the same story every week, just because, like, they
I was thinking the exact same.
Yeah, because they don't have, you know, too much that can hit it too hard, apart from maybe, like, High Jump Kick. So we could have, like, a Chopper Berry, maybe, but, I mean, I suppose if we are doing this sort of Speed War thing, Icy Wind would be a big help for us, so that is one thing that I could see Regigigas actually being helpful for. Yep. But otherwise, it just sort of sits there and doesn't really do much. And Bruxish, if we were going to take that, I guess it would be an alternative Trick Room setter. And I'm still not, like, disregarding the idea that we do have, maybe on Jirachi, like, maybe a Trick Room option later in the game if our Tailwind, like, if they do have two Tailwind setters. So if we lose our Aerodactyl at some point, or we get into a position where we can't get Tailwind and they can, we might want to go for a Trick Room maybe with Jirachi, but Jirachi, it does like having lots of different moves, so I don't know if we will be able to fit that one on there, but definitely these 7 Pokemon. I think Raichu is going to be really, really, really important in this game. Same with Aerodactyl, and I do think Nidoqueen too, just because like it hits like Coco with poison, Bulu with poison, this with Ice Beam, that with Ice Beam, you know, that with Earth Power. Actually, we've got Earth Power to hit Lantern with, you know, Ice Beam, Earth Power. So I think that's really important too. So really, I guess it's just 3 out of these top 4.
Yep.
And you like Breloom, I like Breloom as well.
Yeah, just because I don't know, like, we do have ways to hit Gyarados, but like without Raichu, I mean, we're like Volcarona really won't be able to touch it. I guess Azumarill could play Rough It, Jirachi maybe could Thunderbolt it, but I just like Breloom here because like with the Sash in a matchup where their team is relatively frail and we can take advantage of grassy terrain and we can still put most of the things to sleep. Like I feel like it's just a pretty consistent option.
What Silvally type do you think they would use?
That is a really good question. That's not something I really considered much.
I think they would go grass.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, I think.
Because then we wouldn't be able to spore that. Although they,
Right.
could potentially have the electric train too. But like I think them having a grass Pokemon makes a lot of sense for our two water types.
Yeah.
Um, but and it rounds off their team quite nicely because they've got a fire and water as well.
Yeah, I
But
was thinking grass. What else would really be good against our team?
ground maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it does get like flamethrower and ice beam and thunder wave. It can do like lots of things. So
Right.
maybe the typing isn't the most important thing, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that anyway.
Yeah.
So let's pop Breloom down here then too, because I do like it too, but
hmm
I like all three of these as well.
So, when you mentioned Icy Wind, actually, I think that's a really valuable point because, first of all, it actually hits for decent damage against, like, definitely Landorus, Tornadus, and Bulu. I mean, it's all super effective, and then Koko's pretty frail to begin with. So I was thinking, like, maybe Icy Wind Jirachi then, or like, we could run the bulkier variant, like you mentioned. I was, like, we could run a more offensive variant as well, or maybe we could do a mixed one where it's, like, it doesn't have as much speed, but just because like most of the things are going to be outspeeding us, like Tornadus or the main one's Tornadus and Tapu Koko, so we could like maybe invest a little bit more in bulk.
Yeah, and
But
Landorus too. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I like a combination of like Icy Wind. It gets Thunderbolt, right? You have Thunderbolt for Gyarados.
It does, yeah. We probably would want it on the same side as Raichu if we did do that.
Yeah. So I was thinking like Icy Wind, Thunderbolt. I don't know, like Flash Cannon seems decent against since their team is pretty frail. Psychic is okay. I was thinking more of a special variant, but that was just like initially. Scarf could be decent here too, but it does limit our options a little bit more. The reason why I was thinking Scarf though was just because it's like, oh, we could run like Scarf with like Thunderbolt as well. So like Ice Punch could just knock out the Landorus, Thunderbolt to knock out the Gyarados to one shot those, and then otherwise like Iron Head / Heart Stamp is a 2-hit knockout on the Tornadus, the Bulu. Actually, I'd imagine Iron Head might be a knockout on the Bulu. Probably not if they invest, but still, it's like we have the flinch chances as well, and they can't really one-shot us back, which is why I was thinking Scarf, but it is a little bit more one-dimensional.
Yeah, I think like Jirachi isn't really that offensive. It doesn't really get too many one shots. So I don't think an Ice Punch would one shot Landorus.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think. I mean, I'll check it. I don't think it would though. I suppose it might depend on if we're adamant or not. Ice Punch. Yeah, Ice Punch from Jolly252 Jirachi has got a 69% chance to one shot no bulk Landorus.
Oh, if it's adamant?
If it's adamant, it should be a knockout. Yeah, it is a guaranteed knockout, but that is against no bulk Landorus.
Okay.
And they have got Gyarados too for the Intimidate. So
yeah,
I do quite like special. Yeah, I really like Icy Wind in this match.
Yes.
So I think we have to go like a slightly more supportive Jirachi with Icy Wind. I mean, just a little question about Nidoqueen then. Life Orb is our sort of go-to item now. But is there any potential to Scarf it here?
Ooh, I really think yes, actually, because then we don't need Protect, right? So we could run like Thunderbolt as the fourth. So then now we have a way to one-shot almost their entire team.
Yeah, I mean, if we were thinking that, we could maybe go Assault Vest, so we can take like an Earth Power.
That could also work, yeah. I think I like Scarf a little bit more though, just because it's like Nidoqueen. Like if it's out on the field, it'll threaten something with the one hit. So it's like with the Scarf, even if they set up Tailwind, we'll be faster. If they don't set up Tailwind, we'll also be faster.
I mean, I do like the bulk in Nidoqueen though.
Yeah, like I'm more inclined to stick with the Life Orb.
Yeah.
Just because like Life Orb plus bulk's been really good for us.
So
but the one thing that scares me is like the Gyarados, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. And they will. I mean, they're bound to go with Dragon Dance for that too, thinking the same sort of thing, like Tailwind and Speed Boost with Dragon Dance, and maybe support it with like they've got 3 things that can Sky Drop actually. So we're gonna have to watch out for that.
Yeah.
So are we really debating on Azumarill or Volcarona then?
I guess so. Yeah. Like I'm pretty set on bringing Jirachi. just because Icy Wind, one, like obviously it's a great means of speed control, but it also does pretty good damage, so that's why I'm kind of sold on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did like both of these. I mean, okay, what are we? If we just took these 5, then what would we struggle against?
Good question. Let's see. I guess if Gyarados gets set up, I mean, yeah, that's why I was like, we probably want Thunder. I just like the idea of Thunderbolt on Jirachi because having a way to one-shot Gyarados is nice. Savali's really a wild card here. Like, we can't really predict much of what they're going to do with that, I think.
Yeah.
Tornadus can really set up Tailwind, but damage-wise, it doesn't really do much here, I think. I honestly don't think they'll even bring Lantern, but if they do, we have multiple answers to it. Let's see. Landorus, maybe, is a little bit annoying here.
Yeah.
I think, like, the thing I'm most scared of is, like, Coco and Gyarados, just because Gyarados can set up and Coco it's just going to be faster. Other than Aerodactyl, they could Scarf it for all we know. That's my biggest concern, but that's why I think, like, Raichu, Aerodactyl is our safest lead by far.
Scarf the Gyarados?
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, they could Scarf the Coco. They have used Scarf Coco in one of the games before.
But I'm still comfortable with Raichu Aerodactyl. I don't think they really have something that can give us too much trouble with that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This one's kind of tricky. Like, Azumarill, the merits are it can take hits better from Landorus, Tornadus, probably Savali, and Gyarados, and it can play Rough Waterfall in return. Like, I'm not sure I don't want I don't know, like, Belly Drum, if it does get set up, like, I would really run through their team, but I feel like it's going to be, like, harder to set up here than, say, in other times we've tried it, just because they have a lot to threaten it with a one-shot, and they could probably tech a Z move or two as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one idea, since we don't have a Scarf yet, like Scarf Volcarona once again could be kind of interesting. Just because, like, I'd imagine with Overheat, maybe like I suppose we can't cover everything, but I was thinking like Overheat, some kind of hidden power, obviously Bug Buzz or Heat Wave, a combination of that.
I'm not overly keen on Scarf Volcarona, I don't think, in this matchup.
Okay.
Just because, they're going to Tailwind, and we're going to be stuck into a move and all the rest of it. Like, Overheat is really the only thing that can potentially one-shot things too, and being scarfed into that would just give them so much momentum too.
Yeah, I was just thinking because of the way their team works, it's like one big surprise knockout could be like super big for us, but I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think let's just rewind back to the lead then. And maybe this will help us pick the last Pokemon we want. If we lead with Raichu and Aerodactyl, and they lead with Holucha and Tapu Bulu, what do we do from here? I suppose
Holucha and Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, so they'll get their Unburden boost. And is Grassy Seed is it a physical defense boost? I think it might.
Yeah, it's physical defense.
Yeah. So I guess. Well, what do we do?
Is there any downside to just fake outing the Bulu and Tailwinding? Like, Holucha has to Tailwind, and then turn 2, if we do running like HP Poison on Raichu, then Rock Slide plus HP Poison probably just knocks out Bulu.
Well, if we went for a fake out into Bulu, they could just go for like a high jump kick into Raichu and knock it out straight away. And even if we do get our Tailwind up, their Holucha could easily just be, jolly max speed and still outspeed all of our Pokemon but Aerodactyl in our Tailwind and get its own Tailwind up anyway. So it's not like we'd be denying anything there. We'd just be losing our Raichu.
I see what you're saying there.
And Raichu is actually really important in this matchup, I think.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm a little bit nervous about that lead, just because I think they will go, like, the lead is going to be either Holucha and Bulu or Tornadus and something else.
Right. Then maybe we should have another, like, I'm thinking, okay, if we do see both Bulu and Holucha, and they're on opposite sides. Because a lot of times we've like come up with scenarios, but then like people don't end up even bringing the Pokemon,
Yeah.
or they're not on the right sides or whatever. So that's a big deal. So like if the only thing we really would be worried about if both of those are in the game and they're on opposite sides. But I'm thinking like maybe we could just lead Jirachi there instead then.
That would work. Well, that would. They wouldn't really be able to hit Jirachi too hard, but what, you mean Jirachi and Aerodactyl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. So what?
That's just my initial thoughts. I don't think there's too much counterplay from them there.
What is wrong with just a general Jirachi Aerodactyl lead with Raichu in the back, in Jirachi's back?
I like the fake out pressure more just because of the random scarfs. If they do choose to lead with, and if they lead like with Tornadus as well, Raichu threatens it more with a one shot.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a Thunderbolt would one shot it.
Oh yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I guess unless Electric Terrain is up, but still, yeah, not even without the one shot. Like, well, I guess actually, yeah, that comes back to like what Z move we want to use. I guess because that's where like using the Electric Z move could help us get the one shot.
Yeah.
But that would only be for Tornadus, or chipping out other things. Otherwise, like the Grassy move, like you mentioned, might be better.
Yeah, but we do have Bullet Seed and Earth Power to hit the Lantern here as well.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I don't think they bring Lantern. It just, like, I think they definitely bring their top row. I think they bring Tornadus and Gyarados, and then a sixth one between, like, I guess it really could be anything. Like, I would think they've done Magmortar a lot for redirection, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Hawlucha, like you mentioned. I don't think they've really used Hawlucha at all, but like you mentioned, like, the Grassy Seed combo here actually does work, so if they do realize that's a combination, like, I mean, that could be scary.
Yeah, I think they used Hawlucha to beat Drinking Birds.
Oh, okay.
So like, yes, they definitely have used it before. Did
they use the whole Grassy Seed combination? You know?
I think it was Electric Seed that they used.
Okay.
It was one of the seeds.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, as a result, I don't think we need to prep too hard for Lantern. So maybe the Electric Z move is actually still decent, because I probably, like, I'm not sure, it doesn't knock out Gyarados through Protect, but that would do a lot of damage as well, even if it
definitely. So, I mean, it might knock out through Protect if there's Electric Terrain up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then what, with Hidden Power, Ice? Or Poison?
Ooh, that one's tricky.
Like, Ice hits the Landorus, but and the Bullet, but Poison hits the Bullet a bit harder.
Yeah. I mean, it would literally just be for either Landorus or Bullet, yes. So whichever one we deem scarier.
I mean, Ice Fang is an option for Aerodactyl here too.
Yes. I was actually thinking we definitely want Ice Fang on Gyarados, and then on Aerodactyl, and then if we have Ice Fang and Poison, HP Poison on Raichu, I feel like that covers literally everything offensively.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I mean, as long as they don't intimidate us, because intimidated, it probably wouldn't one-shot anything. Well, it wouldn't one-shot anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do still like these as lead, but we're not really any closer to deciding if we want a Azumarill or a Volcarona.
Yeah.
I mean, if we didn't have, if we're only having one Z move on Raichu, then there is a potential for a Z move on Volcarona, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Azumarill wouldn't want a Z move.
I mean, Fire Z move is pretty great here, I think, just because it one-shots 4-5 things, maybe.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Fire has got pretty good coverage against their team outside of the two water Pokemon, really, and the Magmortar.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have Bloom Doom on Volcarona. Could have Bloom Doom on Volcarona.
Ooh, that's interesting. I think I'd probably like the Fire Z move more, just because like Volk will probably be in a position where we'll be able to just get a knockout. Like,
yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, it's just like, oh, we have such a potent threat, and like we've seen before, we don't necessarily need Z moves to get one-hit knockouts, as even though that has worked out quite nicely for us in a bunch of weeks. Just threatening with like free damage, like forcing them to switch out or whatever, is always nice too, or guaranteeing a knockout. So I probably like Quiver Dance with the Fire Z move, I think.
Yeah, I think that does work. I mean, at the moment, I think I am leaning more towards Volcarona here.
Yes.
It's just that it's threatened by so many things, like rock moves on Landorus, water moves on their water Pokemon, flying moves on their flying Pokemon. It's like so many
Yes, I
things
agree
hit
with
it.
that. I think one other case we could make for Azumarill if we think Magmortar is definitely coming out, because if they use that for redirection, that could be kind of annoying.
Oh yes, yeah. I
Um,
can definitely see them using it,
yes.
but
But I just like I'm not sure what Azumarill set we could really run safely here. Like Assault Vest maybe, but that would literally only be for Coco and Lantern. But I don't know.
yeah, or maybe like a Sludge Bomb on their Landorus.
Yes.
Yeah. It is tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like both of them, to be honest, but I don't know which of these 5 I would nominate to take out.
I think I like the 5. We've already had too much to take anything out, honestly. Like, I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, the only one that I'm not 100% sold on yet is the Brulu, but I do know that it can always do some good work for us. Like
I just think like it's really done so much in the previous weeks just because one spore changes everything, and with the Sash we almost always get that off too.
Yeah, I mean it's just electric terrain, isn't it? That's the only thing that.
But I was thinking like the ones we do want to spore are the ones that aren't ground dead anyway.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
more of the times. I'm leaning more towards Volcarona here as well because I don't know, like even if they do bring Magmortar, we'll have Raichu with the Z move, Aerodactyl with Rock Slide, and Nidoqueen with Earth Power. So I don't think it's the end of the world.
I mean, I suppose the problem then would come is if they get a Dragon Dance with their Gyarados and put it next to their Magmortar, which they've positioned themselves like that a few times. So that
I guess that's where Azumarill would be good then.
Yeah. I mean, they have done that before, so.
Right, it's not like crazy.
Yeah.
I think. Does Azumarill get Thunder Punch?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Dang. That'd be cute. That is tricky. That's a very good point. The thing about Azumarill is if we bring it, it's gonna be the slowest thing pretty much in the matchup, even if Tailwind's up, right? Like we're not gonna be outspeeding much stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but then we could go with Trick Room on Jirachi.
That is actually interesting.
Because if we do get a Trick Room up, then we can like Follow Me Belly Drum, and then we really would threaten.
So then what moveset are you thinking of for Jirachi? Like Trick Room, Follow Me, Icy Wind?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
something else. Which sounds...
I actually really like that idea.
It sounds weird, doesn't it? Trick Room and Icy Wind.
But it's like, depending on the situation we're in, both will be good. I mean, one of the two will be good. Like, the more I think about that, the more I like it, I think, just because, if we do have Follow Me, like, they don't have too many things to really threaten Jirachi with a one-shot either, other than Tech Rage, maybe, from Landorus. That's pretty much it, actually.
Yeah, or Inferno Overdrive, if they put that on Magmortar.
Right. But, yeah, I think I like that. Maybe we could go, like, 50% berry here on Jirachi with Icy Wind, Follow Me, Trick Room, and thinking maybe Iron Head, just for more coverage against Bulu, but...
Yeah, I think we want a steel attack, so either Iron Head or Flash Cannon.
Yes. Thunderbolt, I was thinking of, just because, like, it does help more against the Gyarados, and we probably one-shot it, but maybe that's not necessary if we're bringing Azumarill.
Yeah, Azumarill is pretty good. I mean, because I think the Gyarados, its last move, I'm thinking it might be Crunch, just to hit... Jirachi a bit more, just hit the Broxish potentially too. But I mean, Water has got very good coverage against our team, so it would either be like Earthquake or Crunch, I think.
Yes. Okay, I think then I'm actually kind of sold on the Trick Room plus Azumarill idea.
So this is where things are getting a little bit tricky then, because tricky, but because we've got different modes now, and we need to think which side everything wants to be on.
Yeah.
So, Raichu and Aerodactyl definitely want to be on opposite sides, obviously.
And Azumarill should be on the opposite side of Jirachi and Raichu, so that works out nicely.
Yeah. But
and
then which Pokemon out of these two would take advantage of Trick Room more? Nidoqueen, I guess.
Yes, I would think so.
So would we want it this way around?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, the only scary thing there is, like, our left... I guess our left side's still pretty offensive.
Yeah, with the Z move on Raichu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Breloom still, like, hits their team actually pretty damn hard, too.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that.
It feels like I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone with this.
Yes.
Like, even though I have suggested it, it just feels a little bit awkward. But I do think that it could work for us. Like, imagine we get, fake out Tailwind, whatever. If they get a Tailwind up to, on the last turn of Tailwind, we can, maybe Trick Room. And,
yes.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't see that coming, really.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know. I think, it's cool because we do have the element of surprise, but if we are not that comfortable with it, we really could just swap the Azumarill with Volcarona, throw the Fire Z move on Volcarona, and just not have Trick Room on Jirachi.
Yeah.
Like, that's the two directions I see right now.
Because that does still work.
Yes.
Like Follow Me and Quiver Dance and everything. It's just,
the
scenario is if they have their Redirection and Gyarados. And, like, I'll have a look at the spreadsheet, because I'm pretty sure their Gyarados has got most of their KOs. Let's have a look.
Ooh, that's a good...
Gyarados. Gyarados has got 7 of their knockouts. Landorus has got 8. Coco's got 6. And then a few have got 4, and that's why so Gyarados, they do like to focus quite a bit around Gyarados with like a Z move on it too. So I can definitely see them going with Redirection and Gyarados at some point in the game.
Yes.
And Azumarill really is the only thing that can stop that, I guess. But and that relies on having a belly drum up as well, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, even if we don't have a belly drum, I suppose, like, Azumarill at least play rough, probably 2-shots Gyarados if we're not intimidated.
Yeah, I mean, Magmortar does learn Thunderbolt too, though. So, we'd want to...
I bet does a Waterfall just knock out? Or, I
wouldn't
guess
have thought so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'd still go with play rough, Aqua Jet, belly drum protect.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Azumarill does really good work on their team, especially if we do get it into Trick Room.
Yes.
But it's just sort of awkward that we're leading fast mode, and frail fast mode as well.
Yeah. I think the thing is, though, it's like, because Nidoqueen is so damn good against their team, it's like, okay, so our original plan, let's go super fast. We'll have Nidoqueen and Breloom to switch into if things go down, because those do so well against their team. And then in the end of the game, ideally, we can close out with Jirachi and Azumarill.
Yes.
Like, it's a bit out of our comfort zone, but I think it makes sense, and right now I'm pretty sold on the plan.
Is there something sort of sticking out that we've not really realised that we really do need Volcarona for? Like, Tapu Bulu is the obvious answer that we'd want it for, but we can Sky Drop it, we can Sludge Bomb it, and we can Flash Cannon it. Yeah,
like, we have a decent amount of offensive answers to it.
Would we want Hidden Power Poison on Raichu?
I think so, honestly, yeah. Maybe Ice. I'm still torn on that, just because Landorus, otherwise, like, we could have a surprise knockout on Landorus with HP Ice and Rock Slide.
Yeah.
But HP Poison, like, is less expected, I guess, so it's like we could cheese them a little bit more with that. I think I have to think a little bit more on that one.
Yeah, we can, that's a finer detail we can think about, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breloom, Nidoqueen. Breloom.
Yeah, I'm like, the reason why, like, I don't think Volcarona does anything, it's not, like, absolutely necessary. The only reason I want to consider bringing it is just because it's like, oh, here's a Pokemon that hits for neutral and can one-shot a lot of things with a Z move. But there's not anything where it's like, oh, if we don't have, like, we need Volcarona specifically against this. Because in terms of, like, hitting things for super effectiveness, we've pretty much covered everything with the 6 that we have, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the case for Volcarona, really, as far as I'm concerned, is that if we don't bring it, then we're sort of giving them the speed of the game, because we've only got our 2 fast Pokemon leading there, and if we don't have Volcarona with a Quiver Dance up, then the rest of our Pokemon is just slower than theirs, and we're sort of giving them the potential to RNG us and the potential to get the momentum and everything.
Yeah, I guess that is a problem, but Volcarona's base 100, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Tornadus, Landorus, or Tornadus and Coco would be faster anyway. If they set up Tailwind, Landorus would speed tie us at worst.
No, Landorus is 101, so it is faster.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Landorus would be faster. So it's like Volcarona's still faster than those or slower than those anyway.
Yeah, Holucha is faster too, with acrobatics probably as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I see what you're saying, but I think because their team is actually really fast and they have so many ways to threaten Volcarona for the one shot, I like the bulkier Azumarill here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess it doesn't really matter which side Raichu goes on. We'll pop it down here for now. Okay. So let's just run through this then quickly. A little bit of a summary. So Raichu with Z Electric, I think we're thinking.
For now, yep.
Aerodactyl, I guess with Rock Slide, Sky Drop. If we had Ice Fang and Tailwind, then we'd not having Protect there.
Yeah, do we really need Protect? What's a scenario where Protect would be really useful?
Yeah, I'm not really seeing it. I'm just honestly, I think the thing that scares me most about their team is the Holucha.
Mm-hmm.
To be completely honest, just because it is faster and it can with its Unburden boost and its acrobatics can do a good chunk to our Pokemon. I don't know, maybe I just fear it more because it's the unknown and I've not really played against any.
Yeah.
But it's just...
No, I completely... that's a fair assessment, because, I didn't even consider that when I was thinking of what they could bring, but, that is scary, but I don't know, I think we've been able to adapt pretty decently throughout the league, so, and our lead option, it doesn't, just auto-lose to it, so I think we have plays to make.
Adamant High Jump Kick from Holucha does maximum 82% to Mega Aerodactyl. So,
okay.
That's junk, good. But it doesn't one-shot us, thankfully.
Yes.
So yeah, a bit of a weird Jirachi with Icy Wind and Trick Room, just so we do have some options there, and we can support the Azumarill a bit more as well. I guess having Breloom and Azumarill on opposite sides kind of helps with the potential Belly Drum as well, and with Raichu on the opposite side as well, obviously.
Yep.
Breloom, pretty standard. I guess, well... I mean, a lot of their team is faster than base 70, so if we go Jolly or Adamant, that's another finer detail for the future. Nidoqueen, Life Orb again, Sludge Bomb, Ice Beam, and Earth Power. The combination of those 3 does hit, pretty much all of their team, aside from, I guess, the Gyarados, too hard. And Sludge Bomb would do a good chunk to that too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy with these 6. I'm just a little bit scared that they will be able to Tailwind when we can't Tailwind. So this Trick Room
that's
might
why
be
I
big
think
for
the
us.
Trick Room option is key here.
So,
I don't think we need to be as worried about that because we do have Jirachi.
Yeah, so really, I mean, the biggest issue is keeping Jirachi safe, and the only things they can really hit it too hard with is the Landorus, and maybe if they did have Z Dark move on Gyarados or Z Ground move on Gyarados. Or Overheat potentially on Magmortar as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose they could have Z Ghost on the Frostlass, but I can't see them bringing Frostlass.
Yes.
So okay, it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, I'm looking forward to it because this is definitely not going to be straightforward at all. But I think we're satisfied with these 6 Pokemon. We'll be battling at some point in the next couple of days, hopefully. So, fingers crossed it'll go well for us.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, I suppose we'll start wrapping this up at our usual time of approaching an hour, 50 minutes now. All right, then. So, thanks for watching this, guys. Our little podcast of Team Builder. So, yeah, the battle will be on Cybertron's channel tomorrow. And, yeah, check it out. Thank you very much. And goodbye from both of us.